All right, here we go. Another week. We're getting down to it. After the day, your favorite two games and your favorite time of the year, Thanksgiving. And I know you'll be talking about it again. Your famous rant about why the Cowboys and the Lions have Thanksgiving Day games again for the 50 millionth year in a row. But that's on Wednesday's show. Today, on this Sunday, not Saturday, where it's to look out. We're just going to go through these games quickly. Big matchups all around, critical matchups, teams that could be on the razor thin line of making the playoffs or could be out. A lot on the line here. So we'll get right to it. We're not going to mess around here. We're going to go right to the unanimous picks. We got many of them. The first one is Seattle over Tennessee.
Yeah. No point talking about that.
We got the Ravens over the Jets.
Yeah.
All right. Detroit, even though that could be risky, but they're playing the Giants today with Jameis Winston.
I mean, Jameis Winston isn't going to win the Giants any games, man. Not without Malik Neighbors and Scadaboo. If Dart was in there, I'd say maybe there's a long shot, but no.
Yeah. So that's three unanimous picks. So we'll go rapid fire, and I know you're going to hate these next couple of games. We're going to do Shedeur Sanders makes his NFL full game debut today in Vegas. I wonder if he took into the Formula One race for motivation. The Formula One guys were out there racing around the strip last night, but he's in Vegas in his first ever start. How nice is that, Sin City, for him? I know you have no expectations, but they're playing the Raiders, and I know we're not going to take too long on that. So give me like a score or something.
Yeah. Now the only thing I'm going to say about this is from a fantasy perspective. I mean, there's not much. There's some players in this game, but in terms of quarterbacks, there's not much in this game for a fantasy thing. But I am keeping an eye on this one because even though the Browns are trash, Shadeur's trash, but I am looking at the Raiders, man. Geno Smith sucks. He's washed up, and he's not in Seattle anymore. He sucks. And obviously there's issues with that offensive line's horrible. But if you're in like a super flex league and you really need depth at quarterback, you might want to pick up Aiden O'Connell. Just if you have an extra roster spot, pick him up, man. This is not you, but like anyone. They just activated him off of IR, and he might be the best option at quarterback on that Raiders team. And Superflex, just having a starting quarterback on your bench, gives you a little bit of value. But other than that, for this game, this is trash. I don't really care. I'm going to say the Browns have a good defense, so I'm going to give the Browns the win in a 13-10 game.
Yeah, I'm surprised you talk more about this than I thought. I mean, I know you have no love for Shedeur. I don't think anybody.
Nah, just fantasy, something that, just a long shot type of bench player. I mean, right now everyone's hurting in their leagues. I got Michael Penix as certain leagues I had him as my number 3. This one dynasty league, he was my number 2. I mean, I picked up Aiden O'Connell in that dynasty league and threw him on my bench, and just keep an eye out on him, man. He'll be starting soon.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about this matchup. Like I said, the Browns haven't had a road win yet this year. I think they're the only team in the league that doesn't have a road win yet this year. I gotta look at my numbers, my calculations. But yeah, they are. They are the only team that hasn't won on the road yet this year. They get their first road win today. Shedeur, passes for 1 touchdown. Not going to be that impressive because he needs a lot more experience. Like I said, I ran it on the Browns the other day, so give me the Browns and the final score. Let's say 28-19. I think the defense will play very well.
All right.
All right. All right, we're gonna go to Jacksonville versus the Cardinals. Obviously, this should be more of a unanimous pick, but the Cardinals are tough at home. Jacoby Brissett made NFL history last week, completing 47 passes in the regular season. But Jacksonville is one of the better defenses in the league, one of the more aggressive. They have 18 takeaways. Do they keep up in this what you call a bad division, now a 3-horse race, and 3 teams over 500? Go ahead.
Yeah. Now this is not a good game. But yeah, Jacoby Brissett has at least brought some stability to that position. Quarterback Kyler Murray was awful, and the offensive coordinator's still terrible. But the with Brissett in there, Marvin Harrison's come alive, and actually looking like an NFL receiver now. But yeah, no, Jacksonville wins this one. They're just the better team. Arizona sucks. I don't know, 23-16.
Yeah, this is going to be a defensive battle. I wouldn't say a defensive battle. I mean, Brissett's has been a very good quarterback for Arizona in the start he has made. Obviously, he's a backup, and he's been a very respectable backup in this league for many years. But obviously, when you look at the structure, Jacksonville's trying to make the playoffs, so this is a game they must win because they're trying to stay. They're currently in the final wild card spot in the AFC. So they want to win this game, and I'm sure they will. Even though Arizona is a tough place to play, especially for a team that's desperate, I'll give Jacksonville the edge here. So I'm going with the Jaguars, 30-23.
Yeah. Well, hey, one thing to keep an eye on from fantasy perspective in this one is, you said it's going to be a defensive battle, but the Jaguars receivers are banged up. Obviously, Travis Hunter's out for the season. Brian Thomas is out again. They've figured out that, not just the receivers being out, but, Trevor Lawrence is average at best NFL quarterback. So they've gone run heavy. You saw it last week. Travis Etienne, Bashal Tutin. Look for both of them to be heavily involved this week. Big numbers for both.
My question is, do they miss Tank Bigsby?
They're fine at running back, man.
Well, we thank them because he's been good. He's been a good backup. All right, we're going to go to an NFC South matchup. The Falcons, by far the most disappointing team in the entire NFL this year. We had expectations for them to make the playoffs. We had expectations for them to win the division, and it's blown up in our faces. The offense has been disappointing, to say the least. And Michael Penix is now done for the year with an ACL. Now you go to Kirk Cousins, your boy, who you called the greatest winner of them all to never win anything.
Yeah.
Sarcasm. But obviously, your boy is back, and for now, he is the starter, unless they're looking for anybody off the street. Going against the Saints, who, if they win today, will actually overachieve for what everybody expected. Nobody expected them to win more than 2 games. They could win 3. They win today. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, one thing with the Falcons, man, it's this one hurt me with Penix going down because, I'm a big fan of Penix. I got him in a lot of my fantasy leagues. Like I said, in that one, both my dynasty leagues, but in the one, I'm the number 1 team in the league, and it's super flex league. I got Hurts, and I had Hurts and Penix coming into the year as quarterback 1 and 2. And the only issue with my team, it's loaded, it's really good, but I didn't really have a quarterback 3. So instead of overpaying for an old man and giving up draft picks, I went out and I picked up Kirk Cousins and Tanner McKee and just basically handcuffed my top 2 guys. And I had, Anthony Richardson now on IR, but on my bench. Like I said, I picked up Aiden O'Connell, who I think is going to be starting soon. But I do have Kirk Cousins playing this week. I'm not a fan of it, but hey, it is what it is, man. That offense is disappointing. Drake London's out. Kirk Cousins loves Darnell Mooney. Look for a big game from Mooney for what that's worth. Um, but New Orleans is trash. This game's just a trash game. I don't know, man. I might go. Maybe Cousins actually shows something this week. Probably not, but maybe he actually plays well. I'll go Falcons. 27-17.
Well, like I said, the Falcons have been the biggest disappointment this year. I mean, how do you get punked out twice by Carolina? I don't get it. And the fact is, we'll talk about Carolina here in just a moment. But obviously, when you look at this situation, it's really bad all around. And now rumors are the head coach could be on the way out. He's now. Well, the hot seat's now on fire.
Oh yeah, he's gone, man. After
Because
this year,
because there was expectations this year. When you don't live up to expectations, your ass is going to be shown the door, and unfortunately, their coach is going to be gone. And one thing, I know you're not a big Colin Cowherd fan, Matt. I know you're not, but
yeah.
but he does give good, interesting points. Sometimes you have to listen sometimes to his points. He's not, he's not a great guy as far as being your guy in the building or whatever, but most of these young quarterbacks need offensive head coaches. And I do agree with him. You may not, but to me, he needs an offensive coach. If you're going to get rid of their head coach, you gotta go for an offensive coach. That worked with Matt Ryan for many years in Atlanta. It worked for other coaches around other quarterbacks around the league. If they believe in Michael Penix, and I believe they do, when he comes back next summer, and you have to change the head coach, get an offensive coach. Get somebody in here that's going to at least give him the chance to be successful. Because Atlanta is not successful right now. They put everything in and they still failed this year in many ways. The defense struggled, everything. And now the season's over because you're not going to the playoffs. You have an old Kirk Cousins who's done. And now you just a Saints team the Saints aren't a great football team. We know that, but they're going to win this game because they have nothing to worry. They have nothing to lose, and they don't have the problems that the Falcons have. They're not the disappointment the Falcons are. I'll say this: Falcons finishes last in this division. That's how bad they are. So give me the Saints here. Give me the Saints big, 30-17.
Okay.
They're not a good team, but they'll beat the Falcons because the Falcons are done. They're done mentally, and they're obviously done physically. All right, we're going to go to a matchup now. Unfortunately, over the last couple of hours and the last couple of days, there has been actually the last 24 hours, there has been some major quarterback changes that we were not expecting. The Patriots are in Cincinnati today, trying to become the first team to get to double digits with Denver on the break. They're on the break this week. But they would be the first team to 10 victories this year if they win. Joe Burrow has been practicing very well, but they have a short week game. Who plays on the Thursday night game? There's a Thursday night game. I don't know who plays a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I don't even know at this point.
But for whatever reason, the Bengals has kept out Joe. Burrow is ready to return, but they held him out this week. He is not playing today. They are not playing Joe Burrow today. And that's changed my result about this game. What's your take? Go ahead.
What on Joe Burrow being out or just
the game in general and the fact that Burrow is held out today?
I mean, it's not unexpected. He'll be back next week, but this is actually my other dynasty team. I got Drake May and Michael Penix as quarterback 1 and 2. I had picked up Joe Flacco early in the off season as my QB3. So it's kind of going to hurt when Burrow comes back because all of a sudden I don't even have a QB2. I might have to. I actually picked up Aiden O'Connell in that one too, just hoping I can get something. Otherwise, I might have to make a trade before the playoffs because that team's ranked number 3 right now. So, going for a championship here. But yeah, like I said, I got Drake May going up against that Cincinnati defense. Look for another huge game out of him. He's actually like kind of catapulted himself into like actually in dynasty rankings. He's like the quarterback one now in dynasty. So the guy's a stud, man. What can you say? Um, Look for New England to I wouldn't say blow him out because Burrow or Flacco's played well. He's getting them points, but that defense is awful. Big game from May, good game from Flacco, but not enough to beat the Patriots. Patriots win. Final score 34-26.
This is going to be an interesting matchup. I actually had the Bengals winning this game if Burrow played, but now that he's out again because they held him out, obviously I think that it's going to be a wild game. The Patriots. I mean, look, we know the Patriots' history. We don't know these Patriots. This is not the. I don't think there's anybody from this team that was on the last great team with Brady in 2019. So it's obviously a different roster than anything we've seen. But if Vrabel knows the history, and he obviously knows the history of this team, he played here for many years. This is going to be interesting to see how he handles these last several weeks. And with the Bills not helping their cause, the division's basically in their hands now after what we saw on Thursday night. So at this point, it's obviously May's having a hell of a year. He could win MVP. A lot of rumors about him winning league MVP this year, but I wouldn't give him the award because he needs to do more. He needs to do a little more. But this is going to be a back and forth battle. Young man in May, old man in Flacco. I mean, their age difference is 17 years, which is even more odd. So at the end of the day, or 16. What was May? 24? He's 24. All right. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Patriots in a battle, in a shootout. This is going to be the highest scoring game of the week. So give me the Patriots again, and the final score 38-34.
All right.
All right. Now another quarterback change in the last 2 hours. Aaron Rodgers last week broke his wrist, his wrist on his non-throwing arm, non-throwing hand. He did try to practice with it and use a cast or whatever, but apparently it's hurting enough that he has been held out for today. He will not play today. So your boy Mason Rudolph gets his first start of the season. They play the Bears, a streaking Bears, a Bears team that's now in first place with your boy Caleb. Your boy Caleb thinks it's going to be all-timer. Big matchup, but you can't. But if you're the Bears, you don't want to overlook this matchup because you're staying in Pennsylvania. Because on Friday, in 4 days, you'll be playing. In 5 days, actually, you'll be playing the Eagles on that day, so Black Friday. So, not to look ahead, this should be an interesting matchup. But Bears in Pittsburgh today, or is this game in Chicago or in Pittsburgh?
I think it's in Chicago. I'm not positive. Let me pull it up.
Because I got saying it's in Pittsburgh.
No, it's in Chicago. It's in Chicago.
Oh damn! The hell was I thinking? I had it reversed. My story ass. But anyway, sorry about that, folks. But they are playing the two PA teams within 5 days of each other to try to put this division, or at least put some gap in their division. They're in first place. I know you're surprised at that, but whatever. No Rodgers today to call the Bears daddy. He plays. He'll watch to see if the Steelers can at least hang on to first place today. Why the Bears try to defend theirs. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Bears are trash. I shouldn't say that. The team keeps winning, but Caleb Williams is trash. Okay. But I guess if you look at their schedule, you can see why they're winning games. I mean, look who they beat. They beat Dallas, Vegas, Washington, I think without Jaden Daniels, New Orleans, Cincinnati, the Giants, and Minnesota last week. I mean, it's not exactly they're playing good teams, and it's almost like the Colts, you know? It's almost like the Colts there, just beating up on bad teams. Okay, good. And at least the Colts are beating up on them. You know, the Bears are just barely getting by every week. Um, so I mean, they're no good. Pittsburgh. This is a good test, I guess, but without Rodgers, you know, it's not a real test. Next week's their real test going to be going against the Eagles on Friday, um, which they'll probably get blown out, the Bears. But this one, you know what? Mason Rudolph is not some great quarterback, but he can come in and play well. Um, I got no faith in that bum Caleb Williams. I think this Steelers defense gets after him. You know what? I'm going to give the Steelers the close victory here. I'm going to say the final score will be 24-23.
Wow, you really don't like Caleb Williams.
He's a bum. You know it. Everyone knows it.
I know. I understand. But hey, you gotta give a lot of credit to Ben Johnson. I mean, yeah, yeah. It's not that their wins are impressive, but Ben Johnson, I think, can coach, and it's obvious that the Bears. And yes, they did win that game against Washington against Jaden Daniels. He did play in that game, and
Oh, he did play that one.
yeah,
Okay.
and it was a Monday night game, and it's obviously like last year. It's the whoever won had it's turned the tables on their season. Look at Washington now since that game, and look at the Bears now since that game. The Bears, I don't think, haven't lost, and and Washington hasn't won. So just like a year ago, I mean, yeah, Caleb Williams is no elite quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and say he's elite, but he doesn't do stupid stuff. I mean, he's a above average game manager, and you can and even you can respect that, even though you think he's garbage. Look at it this way: there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that aren't playing great, but I would put Caleb ahead of some of those guys. I mean, do you want him or Justin Fields?
Well, I mean, if you're comparing trash to an even bigger piece of trash, then yeah, I'll take the lesser of the two trash. But yeah,
Because Justin
I don't
Fields,
want either.
I know you don't want either, but let's be honest. At least Caleb can throw the ball with some situation and conviction compared to Justin Fields, who doesn't. That's why he got
Yeah.
benched. Because who are you going to
Well,
bench?
I told you that when I told you that when Fields got drafted that he can't play quarterback at all. And I told you the same thing when they drafted Caleb Williams. Yeah, he can throw the ball a little bit, but he's no good. He's better than Fields, but that doesn't say much.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. He's playing a Steeler team that's just they're just getting by. And guess what? They're playing. He's going to beat this Steeler team because Mason Rudolph. Like I said, if you go and trust your dog with Mason Rudolph over Caleb Williams, I'll take Drew Lock.
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the day, the Bears are going to win another one. I think it's going to be a battle, but I think without Aaron Rodgers, like I said, Mason Rudolph has done well for the Steelers as a backup. He even played a playoff game, as we know, as we all know. But I'm going with the Bears here, and I think Caleb actually has a decent game against the Steelers, even though their defense can be tough. But we know they haven't played that way all the time. So give me the Bears. Final score 26-22.
Okay. Oh, hey, going back to the previous game, that Patriots game, I don't want to spend time talking about trash games, but there's one thing neither of us mentioned is for Cincinnati. Jamar Chase is suspended this week for spitting on somebody. So, that's not going to help Cincinnati either, but look for a big game from T. Higgins.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that, but I know that's like I said, Jamar Chase should have been suspended 2 games because one, not only he did it, he lied. He lied. So he should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
gotten
man.
2 game suspension, but to each his own. Whatever.
Well,
All
I don't
right.
care. In the NFL, the coaches lie every second they speak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're going to
We
suspend
know.
people for lying, then the
We
whole
know.
whole
But he
everyone
blatantly
was.
he blatantly lied, and he should have. You know. But hey, I don't run the league. No, you don't either. So we can't make. You have to go wherever the reason is. We can be
Hey, you know
upset
what? If you
as an
let
opinion.
me, I'll put it this way for you, man. If you get pulled over by the cops and I don't know, just say you smoked weed, and they go, "Hey, have you been smoking weed?" You're gonna say yes, or you're gonna say, "Oh no, what are you talking about?" Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna just admit it. But unfortunately for him, there was a camera right on him when he did it, so got
Yeah,
caught.
that's the problem. There's blatant evidence. I know we live in an AI universe, but that wasn't AI. We're not there yet. We're still years away from playing that kind of bullshit game. All right, we're gonna move on. Like I said, still got some games to go here. Interesting matchup here. We'll get to Johnny B's team in a moment, but we're gonna go to this one, a critical NFC North battle. 2 teams trying to make the playoffs. Well, the Vikings are pretty much out. They're done. If they don't win today, they don't have any help. Like I said, your favorite quarterback just went there and beat them last week. Now they're playing the Packers. Now last year against Jordan Love in 2 matchups, they won both of those games. But this ain't the Vikings issue. But that was Sam Darnold. This is JJ McCarthy, and it's not going well right now. He has struggled and has not looked good, though his 2 wins have been on the road this year, which is interesting. And they're at Lambeau Field today. Green Bay goes home, coming off a tough win against the Giants last week, trying to stay in this division battle with the Bears and the Lions. Critical matchup here. No Josh Jacobs today. He is out for the game. So can Green Bay keep in touch with Detroit and Chicago in this NFC North race, or does Minnesota at least gives them difficulties? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. This isn't normally I would just say, should be an easy win for Green Bay, but dude, they're injured, man. I mean, Jaden Reed isn't back. I mean, they've been talking for 2 weeks now that he's ramping up to come back from IR. He's not back. Jordan Love hasn't exactly been playing well lately. Josh Jacobs is out. Minnesota's got a tough D. Say what you want about JJ McCarthy. He hasn't played well, but that defense for Minnesota is tough, man. This could be another low scoring game like Green Bay played against the Eagles. Um, oh, fuck. You know what? I'm going with the upset here, man. I think that Minnesota defense gets them the gets them an actual win here. Maybe JJ McCarthy plays well enough. Aaron Jones going up against his former team, maybe he does something, but they don't have to do a lot. If they can hit 20 or close to it, then I think they win this one. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota in the upset here, and I'm gonna put the final score at 20-16.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for Green Bay. They have a lot of injuries, you know, but like I said, Jordan Love is playing, even though he's not 100% either. But still, this is critical because Green Bay still could be that team that you don't want to play in a month from now. They could still be that team. They have a great defense with Mike and Micah and all those guys. Yeah, this is going to be a hard game. This is going to be another defensive battle. Pretty much, Green Bay is better off being in defensive battles and blowing out teams unless they're a bad opponent. Minnesota is a very interesting position because they're fighting with Dallas to stay in the wild card chase. They're basically like Dallas. They're just trying. They're trying. This is a critical matchup. This is the game that before the Eagles Cowboys game here in Philly, you get to see with Joe Davis and and Olsen. What's his name? Olsen. What I forgot his first name. Whatever. But
Greg Olson.
yeah, Greg Olsen, Joe Davis, the baseball guy, and Greg Olsen. They have this. This is their matchup today. So obviously, this should be an interesting matchup. I mean, the Minnesota. I mean, I don't know. JJ McCarthy. Look, I'm going to say this: the way you think about Caleb Williams, I think of JJ McCarthy. I think he's not a pro, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't think he's some great quarterback either,
No,
but
no, because he remember when he played under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, that was a run and defensive team. He was told by Jim himself to throw 10 passes a game, and that's what he did. In this league,
well,
you have to throw average 25. You have to throw 25 passes a game if you're mostly a top quarterback, and he was a top flight quarterback coming into this draft. And he's just not capable of that right now. So am I trusting him to win a game? Now, yeah, you might go with Minnesota because they won in Detroit, and I understand that. That was a big win for them. But that was indoors, and this is an indoor team. You're playing outdoors today, Green Bay. Wind, cold, not easy. So I'm going to go with the Packers here. I think I can trust Jordan Love in a higher spot than J.J. McCarthy. So give me the Pack and the final score, and it will be a battle. I'm not going to sit there and say it won't be 23-20.
okay. Hey, two notes with that. Um, one thing with McCarthy, this is why I'm not busting his chops yet. He hasn't had even a full season to start. Okay, you got to give a quarterback 16 games, and with him in particular, I know he was a high draft pick. He was overdrafted. I said it at the draft. But he was considered more of a project quarterback to begin with. So, I mean, he needs a full season. Kevin O'Connell. If Kevin O'Connell can't get him to play well, then I don't think anybody will. But I'm going to give the guy a full 16 to 20 games before I label him a complete bust. The other note is the more I think about this game, the more I like it. I'm changing it. This is going to be my lock of the week. I'm taking the Vikings are getting 6.5. There's no way with how bad Love and that offense has played lately, again, going up against that Minnesota defense, that this is going to be, if Green Bay wins, more than a one-score game. So I'm going with Minnesota as my lock of the week, plus 6.5.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Yeah,
All
hey.
right. All right. So, like I said, you know what? We're gonna go to both of the Sunday and Monday night games because they're both of similarity, and we're gonna preview them back to back here. Both NFC South contenders, the Bucks and the Panthers. I can't believe we're talking about Carolina in the hunt for a playoff spot. Both are out west. The Bucks tonight will be playing the Rams, and the Panthers tomorrow night will be playing the 49ers. All these teams in the playoff mix, big matchups. We're going to start, obviously, with the Monday night game. Obviously, Carolina, they're coming up. They shut down Atlanta, and now they are in San Francisco, a 49er team that got a boost last week with the return of what's his name? Damn, I forgot his quarterback name. Damn. Mr. Irrelevant.
Brock
Mr.
Purdy.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's back.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Brock, and he looked good. I'll give him a lot of credit. He looked really good on last week. Obviously, for whatever it is, Bryce Young looked really decent and made franchise history throwing for over 440 yards against the Falcons in Atlanta. I don't get it. But a tougher defense and a tougher matchup here. Obviously for for the 49ers. A solid defense. I'll give Robert Saleh a lot of credit. He's done a hell of a job. He's going to get another head coaching opportunity, I hope. Maybe as early as next year. But we'll see what happens here. But big matchup on Monday night. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, the fact that Carolina's 6-5. I mean, I've been saying it I said it last year. I said it again this year. Dave Canales is a really good coach in this league, man. I was hoping that Carolina would fall apart, and with how bad Kevin Patullo is, that maybe the Eagles would go after him as their offensive coordinator, but that's obviously not happening now.
He could be coach of the year, man. If they make the playoffs, he's going to get serious votes for that.
Well, I'll get to that in a second because that's not happening either. But hey,
I would give him a vote. I give him a vote.
Well, no, in terms of getting to the playoffs. But yeah, no. I mean, Bryce Young had a huge game last week. He's not going to keep that up. He's been trash all year otherwise, but they're winning games, man. But this is where they're not making the playoffs. The rest of their schedule is tough, man, to say the least. They got San Fran this week. They got the Rams. Then they got a week 14 bye. Then they got a nice one against New Orleans, but then they got Tampa, Seattle, Tampa to close out the year. They're not making the playoffs, bro. But it's a good run. Good run for the trash that they got at quarterback. I mean, the team, if they keep, as long as they keep Canales, they're going in the right direction. But no, against San Francisco, this is where the season starts to go downhill. Like you said, Brock Purdy's back. He played well. Christian McCaffrey's going to have a huge game. Yeah, dude. Niners are probably going to blow them out this week. So I'm going with the Niners here. Final score, I'll say 36-20.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about their schedule. It's a rough schedule. I mean, obviously Carolina has had an overachieving season, and hey, you rather overachieve than underachieve. You know that, and they are overachieving because nobody expected the Panthers to be in playoff contention this late in the year. And
oh yeah,
and like I said, the 49ers, look, they've been very teeter-totter. They're a team that could get in, and they're a team that could miss it. They have to show some strength down the stretch. Yeah, you beat down Arizona, but that's Arizona. I mean, yeah, they have a decent schedule down the stretch, but this is still like I said, this is going to be interesting over these next several weeks about this 49er team because you're trying to hope that the Rams and the Seahawks, like they did last week, would be up on each other. They're going to have another matchup later in the year. But the 49ers are not in the position to win the division because they got blown out by the Rams. Now they own the Seahawks, but the Seahawks are a much stronger team now than when if they would face them again. So they have to keep finding ways to win. Now, there's an outside scenario where they could win the division by the back door, where Seattle struggles down the stretch with some games, and the Rams. Matt, I'm going to give you a bold prediction. All three of these teams, Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers, one's going to miss it. One's going to miss the postseason. And I think it would be the 49ers as of now. But they're going to win this game. But this game will not be a blowout. I'm not picking a blowout here. I think the Carolina's going to give them a fight. They have nothing to lose, and there's no expectations. This is a team that's playing with house money, and a house money team is a dangerous team. So give me from a distance, I think the 49ers would win this game possibly if this was the Monday night game. But give me the 49ers, but give me Carolina with the points, even though we're not doing the bet lines. But I would pick Carolina with the points down there. So give me the 49ers 30-27.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Hey, I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna keep saying it. Dave Canales is a really good coach, man.
Oh yeah.
especially just look at what he's done. Because this has been bothering me. I've said this before. This was bothering me all off season. Is when you look at fantasy, everyone was like, "Oh, Liam Cohen." Liam Cohen was the hot name, and the Jaguars. Oh, look what he did with Carolina. Or look what he did with Tampa. He turned around Baker Mayfield. It's like, okay, Tampa and Baker had a great year last year, but in reality, the year before, Baker had a great year too under Dave Canales. Dave Canales is the one that actually really revitalized his career. And look what he's done in Carolina. He's actually gotten something out of Bryce Young. As bad as Bryce Young is, he's gotten something out of the guy. And he's actually winning games. I mean, you give him a good quarterback, that team actually could be really good. It might win the division and, have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, you may not like Bryce Young at all, but the man now holds the franchise record for a passing game in that team.
No.
And that's over Cam Newton. Newton.
I mean, Cam Newton, it was. Yeah, I mean that's A, it's one game, and B, like
I know.
It's not like he has a record over Peyton Manning or something either.
No. But still, for that franchise, if he's doing that, and because Cam Newton, you should have seen him on First Take on Monday morning. He looked like he got dumped by two women, not one, two women. His girl and his baby and his side chick. And I've seen that before. Not good. Anyway, off the topic. Let's look at the other Sunday night game. Obviously for Baker, now a lot of talk has been on the shows about how his time with the Rams a couple years ago saved his career after Cleveland dumped him and Carolina didn't work out. He went to the Rams, and within 48 hours of just signing his contract, he ended up winning a game for them. Well, this year, that helped him get a job in, shockingly, replacing Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. And it's been going good ever since. But obviously, he's back in L.A., back in Inglewood tonight against a Rams team that's probably the highest team outside of the Eagles in the NFC right now. But they're injured. They have struggled. They have lost 3 of their last 4. Can they pull a mild upset, or is the Rams hoping the Cowboys pull an upset today could end up in first place in the conference when it's all said and done tonight? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, hey man, I mean Baker Mayfield. It's a weird way to put it, because I was just praising Dave Canales for helping turn his career around. But in reality, the guy's a good quarterback, man. It just is what it is. I mean, the guy won the Heisman. He got stuck on the Browns. Okay. I mean, what quarterback actually plays well on the Browns?
He did. Okay. He did a little bit. He did.
Well, he played the best you could ever hope for on that trash organization, and they still let him go. But that's for the best for him. But I mean, he is also an example of some guys, some coordinators or quarterback coaches, they get a lot of credit for building up a quarterback. And it's really just that the quarterback's good, like we've seen it with Brian Dable and Josh Allen, and I know the Bills just had a bad game and all that, but Josh Allen's a great quarterback. And Brian Dable, I mean, yeah, okay, Jackson Darts played well a couple games, but Brian Dable's been horrible the last couple of years. So, I mean, it's not necessarily just, this guy coached somebody, a great quarterback, and so now he's a great quarterback coach, It doesn't work like that. We've seen it all throughout, all over the years, man. Brad Childress with McNabb, he got a head coaching job. Eric Bieniemy with the Chiefs and Mahomes. I mean, sometimes it's just you got a great player, and a decent coach and a great player can turn that into a head coaching job, and then that coach is overwhelmed and sucks, and he's gone. But Baker Mayfield's a really good quarterback. That's just the facts. But with this one, man, this is tough. Bucky Irving's out, but Sean Tucker's one of my guys, man. I'm looking for next year for him to. He's a free agent. I'm looking for him to sign with a team where he can actually start, or at least have a chance at a starting job. And he went off last week, but the Rams have that tough defense. You know what, man? I'm gonna go with the Rams here because it's in LA. If it was in Tampa, I'd probably go with the Bucks. But home field advantage wins out. I'm going with the Rams. Final score, I'm going to say 31-27.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that this is going to be an interesting matchup. Like I said, Baker Mayfield was disrespected by the Browns, but then again, the Browns don't deserve nobody because they are a crappy organization. They can sit there and say, "Oh, we got 2-time coach of the year," but Baker Mayfield actually won you a fucking playoff game, man. That's all you need to know. And then it's just like you still let him go because you didn't think of him at all. And obviously, he was lost for 2022 was a lost year. He went to Carolina, didn't work out, and then he got released. And then luckily, he obviously ended up in with the Rams, won a game, and got his confidence back. Got himself a job with Tampa Bay, and I wouldn't say the rest is history, but it's been going well ever since. But obviously, I mean, you think about the story of Sean McVay giving him that opportunity, but now he's a competitor. And two first place teams going at it here, it's going to be a battle. But when you look at the Rams, I mean, like I said, they're hoping to be the 1 seed. The Eagles have a tough matchup today, so they're hoping that they can that Cowboys can actually show up, and that could actually give them the chance to be in first place. And there's a very good chance they could end up in first place when this is all said and done. But at the end of the day, I think with this, the whole story is the Bucs are banged up. The Rams have a very tough defense too, just as good as their offense. People ain't going to complain about their team as much as they will complain about our team. They can play well on both sides of the ball. So give me the Rams. Yeah, I think the Rams will win pretty comfortably here. Rams win and final score 37-26.
Yeah.
All right, this is the Panthers and the 49ers are my game of the week, by the way. Anyway, this is America's game of the week here. Oh, man. The Johnny B's Colts. And I know we don't want to call them that way, but hey, whatever. Now we're going to know a lot about this Colts team. They're in Kansas City today against a desperate Chiefs team. And down the stretch, they have a tough schedule. I mean, give a lot of credit. They've been good all year. They played well. They're very good. They're a very good offense with Jonathan Taylor, a league MVP. He get my vote today. Obviously, you look at their line. O-line's pretty good, but that's about as far as I look at them because everything else on this team is vulnerable. Quarterback is vulnerable. Defense is very vulnerable. And now you're going against Big Red and the Rocket in Arrowhead. Like I said, you think the Steelers was tough on them. Now you got to play the team, the establishment. All right, Matt, your thoughts on this game, but be serious. I know you want to take a shot at Giant B. You're allowed to, but be serious about this game because we're supposed to be considered professional. So go ahead. So go right at it.
All right. Well, I mean, you've named him Johnny B. Colt, but
a couple years ago,
that's what you named him. But after dealing with him for over a year now, I mean, I've already changed his name. It's Johnny B.S. Dolt. That's his name.
That's pretty good.
Goofball. Yeah. He's a goofball, man. In terms of this game, look, man. the Colts have played well against bad teams. They played so when they have a decent matchup. You know, I mean, they got lucky against Denver. Let's be real. They should have lost that game. They got lucky, but okay, they won it. They got beat by the Rams, got beat by the Steelers. They played the Chargers when they were at their lowest, but they won. Hey, it's a playoff team. They won. So they're 2-2 against playoff teams. But the rest of their schedule's been a complete joke. The rest of their schedule, though, this is where it gets tough, man. KC, Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Houston. I mean, there's not one easy game there, you know? KC might be the easiest out of the group, to be honest, with the way they're playing. But it's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Bottom line, though, like you said, as long as they have Jonathan Taylor, they'll be in games. This guy's having the best year of his career. He's playing at an insane level. He's basically playing at the level of Saquon Barkley last year, except, not on as good a team. But, he's playing at an insane level. So, they'll be in games. But their defense sucks. Their quarterback, you pressure him, he sucks. Going up against Kansas City, dude, Mahomes will probably tear up this defense. KC is desperate. They're sitting at 5-5 now. They need a win. They lose this one, they're done for the year. Their playoff hopes are over. So they're desperate. It's in Kansas City. Mahomes is going to go off. And look for Steve Spagnuolo is a really good defensive coordinator. He's a terrible coach. He's a really good defensive coordinator. And he brings the heat. And like I said, Daniel Jones can't handle the heat. So all they got to do is contain, not shut down, contain Jonathan Taylor, and it's a wrap. I already picked this game as one of my picks last week. KC was giving up. It was 3.5. It's 3.5 now. I think it was 3.5 then too. And I'm sticking with it. I mean, KC's going to win this game, and they're going to win by more than 3.5. The question is by how much? I don't think it's going to be like a blowout or anything, but it could be 2 scores. But I think it's going to be more like 6-7 point victory for Kansas City. And Johnny B, that's the other thing when we talked last week, when I made this pick, I said he's a pussy because he doesn't pick the Colts and he ran away crying, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have heard from him since.
He claimed he had dinner. Somebody
Oh, yeah.
That's a lie. Yeah. We know it's a lie because you said it and he ran right off. He got right off.
Yeah. I mean, that was like...
That's why he's afraid of you. He'll deal with you, but once you take that direct shot at him, gone. Has nothing.
Yeah, I guess,
nothing.
I guess so, man. I don't know. It was weird and it was convenient. I mean, hey, I bust balls all the time with my friends, and I've never had anybody hang up the phone because I said you're a pussy or something. But
but it's funny. Like you said last week you said or our live show, hey, the Steelers spanked and Aaron Rodgers spanked that ass, and he couldn't say nothing either. So
yeah,
like I said,
that's
you
true.
Just have to get him. You just have to get him when you know you can get him. But the fact is, the Bulls got issues. I don't know why. What the fuck? Yeah,
I guess, man. But either way, it doesn't matter. KC wins this one outright. They cover the spread. They're still, I don't know, they may or may not make the playoffs, but they're going to beat the shit out of the Chiefs. Well, I shouldn't say that, beat the shit, but they're going to beat them. I'm going to say 33-26.
You said they're going to beat the shit out of the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, the Chiefs. The Chiefs will beat the Colts. They're not going to beat the shit out of them, but 33-26.
I was just wondering because you were like, "Oh, you're going the opie dope."
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm backwards.
But anyway, like I said, I mean, looking at this Colts team, and your eyes could be different than mine, obviously. of what we've seen. Like I said, Jonathan Taylor's an MVP contender, just like Saquon was last year. Best back in the league, can do anything. But we also know when you take Jonathan Taylor out of the game, then you put it in Idiotic Jones's hand. Yeah, I call him Idiotic Jones. The looks is not good. It's not good. And, like I said, defense is going to get, like I said, one thing I told him the day after, Matt, is that the Colts are not built for shootouts, and they're not built for low scoring defensive struggles. This is a very vulnerable 8-2 team, as you have said, and what we've seen so far. Now that they're getting to the part of the schedule where they have to play tougher defenses, like the two in their division, Houston and Jacksonville, we're going to know a lot about this Houston team, about this Colts team. And today is one of those days where if they don't bring the heat, Mahomes can pick you apart, as we all know. Mahomes can pick you apart. And he's done that to everybody over the years. He did it to Lamar this year with the Ravens. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. I think the Colts will give them a fight, like you said. I mean, they're a good enough team that they'll play hard. But I just think that the Chiefs are desperate. They've lost their last 2 games. They have to win it out because they don't hold any tiebreakers. This is not one of those years where they can get away. They have struggled in one-score games, but they'll win this one-score game. So give me the Chiefs. Final score 30-26.
Okay.
All right, last game, and this will be interesting. The Cowboys are desperate. They come off a big win against the Raiders on Monday night. Of course, it's the Raiders, and they got momentum, and they're talking again. But the Eagles, they got the defense to destroy it to be anybody now. That defense is rolling. Has beaten 2 very good teams in the last couple of weeks. Now they're in Jerryworld. But a lot of people are picking the Cowboys. A lot of the national pundits. A lot of reasons. Dak has had a lot of success against the Eagles in this building. He has beaten them 6 times in his career. He has won 19 division games in this building. So it should be easy, right? No. The Eagles, this is a game that if Dallas can't figure out that tough defense, it's going to be a long day. As capable as Dak is throwing 4 touchdowns, he's capable of turning the ball over 4 times. So this is a critical matchup. And for Cowboy fans, this could also be game over for the playoff hopes. Because if the Eagles win today, and if the Eagles win on Friday against the Bears and Caleb Williams, and Dallas loses to the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, because they play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, division race is over. The NFC East champs is the Eagles. Once again, division will be clinched before it even turns to December 1st. And for the first time since 1995 season, the Eagles are wearing their Kelly Greens on the road. So interesting scenario. Interesting scenario that it's Dallas, where they haven't had the best success in those jerseys, at least not in the last 35 years. The last time they won in those jerseys in that building, against the Cowboys on the road, 1991. So be advised. Go ahead.
All right, man. Well, this is the big one. And you know what, man? This is what I've been saying all year. The Eagles are good enough with their at cornerback too. They didn't have a great pass rush earlier in the year. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, we needed another cornerback." I know they went out and traded for Jair Alexander, but let's be real. Look at the last couple games. Like you said, the defense is really hitting its stride, and it's because the pass rush is getting to the quarterback, man. and all of a sudden that cornerback 2 position doesn't look so bad. You know what a difference it makes when you actually get pressure. So
Jalen Phillips, man, Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips. I was actually going to send you guys an article about how Moro Jomo should be getting Pro Bowl buzz, and that's my boy. If you remember a couple of years ago when they drafted him the 6th round, and I was like, dude, it might have been the 7th, but I was like, yo, that's a steal. I was like, yo, I had him as a 3rd round pick, and 4th round would I actually in my, how when we do our pre-draft show, I give my Eagles mock draft, and I had Moro Jomo in the 4th round going to the Eagles. I was like, yo, if he drops to the 4th round, that's a steal there, and he dropped at the end of the draft. And look at him, man, tearing up. And I've been saying it. I said it last offseason when they lost Milton Williams. I said, you know what? They got Moro Jomo. I hate losing Milton, but he could come right in and fill that role, and he has. The guy's a stud, man. The guy's a player. So, yeah. Jalen Phillips, Ojomo, Brandon Graham. All of a sudden, things are looking better. The offense, on the other hand, isn't looking that great lately. And that's going to be, they got to fix that. And I don't know how. It's like I said on Wednesday, it's probably just got to be talent has to win out, because our coaching is what it is at this point, man. It's not like we're going to get a new offensive coordinator in here tomorrow and he's going to come up with a new playbook and we're going to learn it and institute a whole new.
Too late here to try something new. No, too late.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen, man. So we got what we got, and that's the problem. We got a terrible offensive coordinator, a coach that has no clue how to coach an offense. If we added a coach like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, a guy that can actually call plays, and then you just have some lackey as the offensive coordinator, then okay, it's fine. But we're reliant on the offensive coordinator to actually be good, and he's not. And that's the problem. When everything works well, like last year, you got Kellen Moore. Okay, great. Sirianni can just play his hype man role, and he can be good at that. But, the key is you got to have an offensive coordinator that can call plays, and we don't have that. So, man, you know what? I think the Eagles are going to win this game, man. I know it shouldn't be like that close. The Eagles are a better team. They got the defense rolling. The Cowboys have a horrible defense. The Eagles should be able to put up a ton of points on them, but I just don't have that much confidence in that offense right now. But maybe this is the game that they get rolling. Who knows? But either way, I think the defense does contain the Cowboys offense, and hopefully the Eagles offense can at least put up 24 points, and that'll be enough. So Eagles win. I'm going to say 27-23.
Well, like I say, you're right about two things. Offense is not, defense is great. But you rather have a better defense than look, I know this is a league you have to score points. But I'd rather have a great defense than a great offense. Because if I have a great offense and my defense isn't that good, then I have to keep scoring points. With this defense, you don't have to keep scoring points. You just have to at least outscore the other team. And that's basically what this team is now built at. Jalen Phillips is the best trade of anybody at the deadline. He's come in, he's given them this pass rush and the confidence that they haven't had before this year, and he's done extremely well. Obviously, it helps that he knows Vic Fangio's system very well. That also helps. He just doesn't come in and have to learn. He already knows the playbook because he helped him a couple years ago. But obviously, when you look at this team offensively, you just have to get by. They just have to not make any stupid mistakes, and they don't. Yeah, I give a little credit, Matt. Even though the offense has not been good this year, they don't turn the football over. They don't. 4 turnovers all year. They
Well,
don't
hey,
turn
they
the
give
ball.
Hurts credit for that, man.
I mean, it's one thing if they're struggling, but if they're not turning the ball over, at least they're not going to make it stupid and give the Cowboys any help. And let's be honest, let's look at Dallas. Obviously, they have a great offense with Dak and two great receivers. Pickens has had a hell of a year. CD, you know him. Devontae's been a decent back, but he's not an elite back. He's not anywhere near that. But he can give you some good games. But we know Dak is very vulnerable. And against this defense that shut down Jordan Love and Jared Goff in the last 2 weeks, hold them to single digits in points. Now, yeah, I think that's asking a little much with Dallas because they do score a lot of points. They are 10th in the league in points scored this year. But against this defense, I can see that the Eagles defense getting not one but two scores. I think they're going to get some scores here, man. I think they're going to get a couple turnovers and they're going to get a couple of scores. I just think that when you look at this, everything that this defense is, they're going to make Dak struggle in the second half. They might look good early, but they're not going to look good late. And I think the Eagles will do something offensively, not a lot, but I think Saquon will get a touchdown. They'll get a tush push touchdown, and that's it from the offense, and then two defensive scores from the defense. But I think Dallas will score early just because they might get a turnover off of Hurts and all of them. But at the end of the day, the Eagles are going to win this game, and you'll be surprised at the score I'm going to put up. I say Eagles win 36-22.
Okay.
Just because I trust the defense. I think defense is going to get some scores today. All right. So that sends us to Friday, and obviously we will talk on Wednesday. Hopefully you'll be on. It's our Thanksgiving Eve, and you will give your traditional rant about Thanksgiving games, why they have them, why Dallas and Detroit have them. I don't know if you still feel that way, but you always do. So I'll give you the floor if you're on Wednesday to discuss your hatred of Thanksgiving Day games by teams that don't deserve it. But we'll preview those three games, the Thursday night game, and obviously the Eagles Black Friday game. And and hopefully we'll be back on Saturday to preview the rest of the loot in the look back. I mean, in the lookout. So that's all. Enjoy the games today. Hopefully your team does well. Your playoff hopefuls, whatever. Feel bad for your Bills, Bear Matt. It's not good there. But that's all we have for
Well, they're
this.
not my Bills, you know.
But you respect the team. You respect the team. Anyway, but that's all we have for this week. And all right, like I said, there'll be no new music like I did on what I did on Wednesday, but whatever. Enjoy the games, folks.